All right, I have a package here that came in pretty far away, but we're gonna open it, see what it is. It may or may not be a new turbo. This is a genuine unboxing. I haven't opened it. I've been kind of dying all day to open it, but I was waiting so that I could make the video and so that it would be like a genuine reaction. So this here is a turbo from PSR. Decided to go with one of their turbos for the S15 project. I ended up finding out that the S15 had a pretty bad turbo on it. It was a 2871R, but it was pretty messed up. So I ended up working with PSR to get a turbo, and they got it here extremely fast. So pretty stoked on that. All right, some slight technical difficulties while getting the cardboard box open, but here it is. So I'll change the camera angle and then we'll dig into it. All right, let's get into opening up this turbo and take a look. Oh, might have to spin it this way. All right. I don't really have a fancy camera mount, so I had to kind of do what I can. So I gotta be careful not to knock the camera over. Oh, look at that, nicely packaged. So we'll go ahead and pull this turbo out of here, and let me pull the box out. Got the turbo assembly, frame and gasket kit with some extra fittings and stuff. That's pretty cool. And what we'll do is we'll just kind of, oh, it looks like there's cool little install guide with some information on it. And I'll make sure, I don't think there's anything else in this box, but you know, double check, make sure. Sometimes there's stickers or all kinds of things in there. All right, so let's package this thing back up, and we'll get this out the way really quickly so that we can look at what we came here for. And that's a PSR turbo. And this is the bolt-on version for the SR20DET application. Let's see, let's get this wrapping out the way. We'll take a look at this thing. Wow, it looks pretty good, honestly. I was trying not to break the bank, but honestly, I've heard a lot of good reviews about Pulsar turbos. This dual ball bearing GTX, I think 2871R. I really like this because, I mean, it was one of the few people offering the bolt-on configuration with the front housing, you know, with those 2-bolt and 3-bolt flanges. For me, it just makes it easy with the SR. I already have everything that bolts on and an intake and everything, and I just kind of wanted to keep it original, keep it what it had, which was the gritty stuff on there. So let's flip it around and look at everything here. Nice. So, I mean, honestly, it looks great. I mean, looks like it's high quality. Definitely, you know, I don't know if these fittings are like, I'd probably double check them, but you know, I don't know if they're torqued in there from the factory, but I'll probably, I don't know if I'll reuse these maybe, but I'll put a fitting on there that I have, or I'll convert it to -6. I think what I have on there is -4 for coolant, so might have to upgrade that, but it looks like, you know, we got the oil drain port. Just put the T28 style drain will go on that, and then yep, and then it looks like within this kit that they give you, probably the correct restrictor pill, it looks like, and some gaskets. So it's always good to have those extra 5-bolt, 2-bolt, or 4-bolt and 5-bolt gaskets. It's cool to have the, you know, if you're not using it in an OEM application, I think it's really cool that they include that -10 2-bolt bung, an extra gasket. it's always nice to have extra hardware like that for the, for a turbocharger. And then just, with some information, definitely we'll give it a read through about the water cooling and the drain. It's definitely important when it comes to turbos. This is an OEM application, so it's engineered pretty well in terms of the in and out of the turbo, but definitely for a more aftermarket situation, you want to make sure that you have like the right oil drain, and it has the correct gravity flow and all that, so you're not pulling up any oil. Or same thing with the oil feed. You just want to make sure that you're using the right restrictor pill. Depending, this is a ball bearing, so it's probably going to use like 1 mil or 1.5 mil. And then like if you're really tiny, if you're for ball bearing, if you're going to use a journal bearing turbo, it's usually a little bit more of a larger fitting, a little bit more forgiving on the oil flow. But yeah, I mean, this is I'm pretty impressed with it. One thing that was kind of at least just nice to me, spoke out, was I like how it's got the wastegate nipple. You can just kind of spin that any way you want. I don't know if these are quick change springs. I went with the 11.6 psi pressure spring. I know that you can change them out. You can buy the different springs. It looks like it is a quick change configuration. I mean, you can just break that loose almost with probably a little coilover looking collar and change that out. But yeah, it looks like it's got it's a great turbo. So I mean, we'll see. We'll get it on the car and see how much power it makes. But I'm hoping to make at least over 350 horsepower on this turbo. So yeah, I'll be making some videos on the the actual application of bolting it on and getting it all set up. And then once I get to that point with the S15, I'll get some videos out there, just how much power it makes, and all that, and the rest of the setup. But overall, pretty impressed just from looking at it. It looks like it's high quality. About for that range of like uh, Pulsar turbos are around, like, I would say like $600 to $800. These are really good turbos. It appears. I've had some friends give me some recommendations on this. They've had zero problems with theirs. So that's what pointed me in this direction of going with a Pulsar. So yeah, I hope this helps. It just quickly shows you what you get in the box, and from Pulsar, and yeah, just overall a quick unboxing video of this GTX2871R. And here's a quick side-by-side comparison of the PSR GTX2871R and then the original Garrett GT2871R. This is the one that failed. Well, it's failing. It still works. It's just the wheel's all chipped up. It doesn't really have a lot of shaft play, but I couldn't in good faith run that. It's pretty messed up. Still a ball bearing turbo, but just for size and looks comparison, I don't have the wastegate on it right now, but it's just kind of like a standard older style wastegate, just like a zinc, I think a zinc coated one. But both sound good. Look is similar, just got the PSR logo and versus the Garrett. But I do like the more finished, I would say, like, casting. It looks a little bit more even. I know this is probably looked better when it was new, but this is probably a 25-year-old or 20-year-old turbo, compared to a new one. But yeah, I went with the both are 0.64 AR, just the same, kind of like the same setup, just updated. Should be a great turbo. So I just figured, let me change the angle so you can take a look. And this one, I have it clocked. This one, I took it apart, so it's not clocked the way it originally was. But I can spin it this way, so at least like the exhaust housing looks the way it should. But yeah, pretty impressed with the PSR turbo quality, and I'm excited to get this on and get my SR running again.